Test 1, 2.
Great. Go without this thing again. This is out again.
So, Fish told me last time.
Mic check, mic check. Still got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of, but what a great job by Dance Chaos. Wonderful dance crew entertaining a very big crowd here at the Moncton Coliseum. We'll let the PA announcer now bring you into the lineups, and then Dave and I will be back. And the tip-off of Halifax and Moncton just around the corner. Good evening and welcome to the Moncton Coliseum for tonight's big divisional matchup between the division-leading Halifax Hurricanes, tops in the Atlantic, taking on the Moncton Magic here at the Moncton Coliseum. The Moncton Magic nipping right at the heels of the Halifax Hurricanes. I'm Scott Squires, along with my broadcast partner David Tingley. Glad to have you here at the Coliseum. And David, we broke down this matchup on our live pregame on Periscope and Twitter earlier. But for fans that didn't see that, this Halifax team, second time that they're playing Moncton. The first time was at Scotiabank Centre, and a close one. Moncton got the win in overtime. What do you expect from the Hurricanes tonight?
Well, these teams, we're going to see more of the same from Halifax because they do what they do well, and they ain't changing it for anybody, and that is pound the ball inside, lots of post-up opportunities, run their stuff in the half court better than pretty much anybody else in the league. Well, not pretty much. Definitely better than everybody else in the league, and convert on those half-court opportunities. Now, they have improved over last year. They score 5 more points a game they did last year in the season in which they made it to the league finals and lost to London, but they just didn't have the firepower to stay with London in that championship final. They hope that that's different this time around. They can get out and push the ball a little bit, but they are still at their best in that half court, using that huge front court, talented front court, scoring that in the half court.
Well, this Mike Leslie coach team, second in the NBL in points per game at 111.6, and they are leading the NBL in shots from the floor. They launch almost 90 shots a game,
and it's hard to keep scoring at that rate when they shoot an inefficient percentage from three-point land and from the line. They don't get to the line as much as you would expect, and they don't convert when they get there as much as you would expect with the talented players that they have, but yet they still score at an elite rate because they are so good at taking care of the ball, rebounding the ball, and scoring in the half court.
And the Moncton Magic looking now to get on a bit of a streak here. They got a big monkey off their back with the 113-88 win over their arch nemesis, the Island Storm, just a couple of nights ago right here at the Coliseum. Starting 5 for the Moncton Magic: Corey Allman, Denzel Taylor, Anthony Anderson, Jeremy Williams. And I'm looking for one more, and it's Terry Thomas.
Terry Thomas, there you go.
He was hiding in amongst the trees, and we are underway from the Coliseum. Glad to have you with us here. A great crowd on hand on a Saturday night in Moncton. Here we go. Terry Thomas right away from about 18 feet. Shot comes down into the hands of C.J. Washington.
And a back screen UCLA cut there for Terry, and they got what they wanted. Him matched up with Billy White, but he rose and fired over top of it instead of being aggressive going to the hole. That'll probably change if we know Terry as this game goes on.
A very talented group of players on this Halifax Hurricanes team. A lot of guys from the basketball mecca in and around New York, Brooklyn, and Queens, the boroughs, producing so many quality basketball players, and a lot of them on this Halifax Hurricane squad. And the fans here, many of them at the Coliseum, going with the standing up until a bucket is made by the home team. And that shot off.
Antoine Mason with the first shot. It looked like it was a 3, and that's not his strength. He is one of these guys that's much better in the mid-range and on the attack.
Denzel Taylor getting some starters minutes the last couple of games, and he has been effective. Here's Terry Thomas, leading scorer for the Magic on the air. Gets it off to Jay Williams. Williams steps back with a hand right in his face off the front of the rim, and it's rebounded smartly there by Billy White. Up comes Clinkscales. He's a dynamic performer, 12 in blue. Little step back jumper there, that's no good. Both teams cold right now, big battle in the paint, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be Magic ball.
And you're gonna see that all night. The two top rebounding teams in the league. Every rebound is gonna be contested by both squads on both ends.
Well, the Halifax Hurricanes leading the NBL in rebound margin per game at a +6. Second best team in the NBL, just over 3. Well, as you said, it's the Moncton Magic. So big battle on the glass in store for us here tonight. Still no score. Fans still on their feet waiting for the first bucket from either team right now.
And the Magic have gone with 3 jump shots in 3 possessions, and that's got to be something they're going to want to force their way inside a little bit and make Halifax defend them in the paint.
Nice defensive rebound by Terry Thomas. He takes it all the way up. Slows it down. Williams, he can be good from there. And Jay Will lets the fans finally take a seat with the first points of the game, and it's a triple.
And Jay Will says, shut up, color commentator, but he was walking into that 3, and he looked confident stepping into it. And that's something that's really comfortable for a good shooter like Jeremy walking into a three from the top of the key with momentum.
Antoine Mason being guarded by Allman. He'll just step back. That's a little bit too strong off the back part of the rim. And again, defensive board taken by the Magic. That time it was Williams. Terry Thomas shuffling in through the paint, loses the handle, and it coming away now. With it are the Hurricanes. It's Mason. He runs into the lane, goes to the right hand.
And that's his game. Antoine Mason's one of these running back of a two guard. He just he can make a three. He can step out and make it from out there, but he doesn't shoot a great percentage. His game is putting his head down and getting into the paint, and he loves contact and playing through contact and finishing. Now he's improved in one way. He's really improved this year since he stepped into a starter's role. He was their sixth man last year and a really good one. But he stepped into the starter's role this year, leading the team in scoring over 19 a game, and he converts a much higher percentage at the free throw line than he did last year. Last year was in the low 60s. This year he's up over 70.
Antoine Mason hits both. First foul, that was on Jeremy Williams. So early stages here, just a 3-2 score. It's Magic in the lead. Here's Denzel Taylor. Gives it off to Corey Almond. He was so hot from outside the arc last game. Has it stripped away there. And here come the Hurricanes. It's Clinkscales. Clinkscales dumps it inside there. Tyrone Watson underneath some defensive pressure from Terry Thomas.
And last time out, our matchup to watch was Terry Thomas and Devon Maxwell. Tonight, I think the matchup to watch is Tyrone Watson on Terry Thomas, because Tyrone does so many things, the Canadian, for Halifax, and one of those things is defend, and it's his assignment to shut down Terry in the half court tonight.
Hurricanes working it in, backing down the defender, dishing it to Clinkscales. Quick ball outside. Good ball movement here by Halifax. Clinkscales takes it in against Denzel Taylor. Taylor plants the feet. Time expired on the shot clock. Had to put the shot up, and it's no good. Still just a 3-2 score. A triple for the Magic and 2 free throws for the Hurricanes. That's all the scoring so far. 8:44 to go. Terry Thomas, he'll step up from about 12 feet and drain that one with the nice stroke.
And Terry loves that step back with a smaller guy on him.
And that was almost like, I don't know what that was. He kind of cupped the ball. Antoine Mason kind of.
That's what he does. He goes to that Euro step where he cups it like a running back, going through the hole between the guard and the. Between two guards in the middle of a hole on the offensive line on a football field, and that's what he looks like he is. He's got that strong build, and he loves to get in there and create contact.
It was almost like watching Le'Veon Bell go through the offensive line for the Steelers, the way Mason kind of grabbed that ball and cradled it and worked his way into the bucket.
Exactly right, and it's Corey Allman's assignment to slow him down, and he got caught a little bit grabbing him on the cut.
This Halifax Hurricanes team, they love to play down low. They'll try to work the half-court game, and they'll try to dominate you in the paint from about 12 to 14 feet into the bucket. That's what they want to try and dominate.
And they've tried to do that so far with dump downs into CJ and Billy White and also Tyrone Watson, and have gotten 0 to show for it so far.
And there's a big push-off inside. The fans didn't like it. Antoine Mason, talk about a running back. He was almost like a defensive back there, pushing off the receiver.
That's an interesting no call. I'm not sure what the explanation would be for the no call on that one. Had to be something one way or the other.
5-4, 1-point lead for the Magic. 4 minutes off the clock here in quarter number 1. AA Anthony Anderson takes it strong, goes to the left hand, and he'll take the foul as C.J. Washington was trying to put the pressure on defensively. So the foul will go to Washington, and Anthony will go to the line.
And so smooth, and that's what Moncton tries to get you into. They try to dance in that lane, get the screen and roll set up, get you switched, so you've got a matchup you don't like. And Anthony had C.J. Washington. C.J. is a very good defender, but it's a tough ask for a guy his size to stay with AA in the half court.
So 3-point play converted by Anthony Anderson. Back the other way now. Here's White. Puts the shot, fakes putting it up, gives it off to Clinkscales. There's that perimeter ball movement again from the Hurricanes. Tyrone Watson takes it in strong against a crowd, high off the glass. Rebound, putback, swatted away, and here comes Corey Allman. Allman will slow it down now, get it to Thomas. Thomas steps right into the face of Watson.
And a good box out there by C.J. Washington. And guys, this is going to be a physical matchup. Buckle up for this one. You might have some bumps and bruises to show for it just watching this game on your laptop or on Bell TV at home.
Yeah, the level of physicality already has been heightened from what we've seen in previous games, certainly in the first few minutes of a quarter of the game opening. Both teams know the importance of this game. Inter-division rivals, always big games, and that wild-looking shot was put up. And there's Denzel Taylor sucking up the offensive glass. This team leads the league in offensive rebounds a game at just shy of 16 at 15.6.
And the next team right on their heels is the Halifax Hurricanes, and there's no one else really even close to these two in that category in the NBL. These teams wipe the glass clean, Windex style.
From the corner, nice look there as Antoine Mason sinks it and then takes a look at the fans behind him. And I don't know if you want a little bit of popcorn there, but gave the fans a glimmer.
He makes that shot just enough, so you have to respect him. Not a high percentage, but he gets him up in volume, so you got to get your hand up.
Anthony Anderson kind of runs a 270-degree path around the baseline and out to the other side. Tried to feed it inside to Denzel Taylor.
And a good call. He did come down with it before he released the ball, it looked like to me, at least from this angle.
Our officiating crew this evening, Adam Detienne, Matt Boyle, and Ryan Lutz. And again, Mason from almost that same spot, no good that time. Terry Thomas brings it back the other way. Thomas behind the back, goes over to his left, and again the shot just couldn't find the range. Long lob pass up ahead, taken underneath. Good rejection there. Taylor, big man in the paint right there, and Allman, here he comes.
And you've seen exactly why Denzel Taylor's earned his starting spot here in the last couple of games already. That defense on one end, blocking shots, playing CJ Washington one-on-one without needing any help. And at the offensive end, he cleaned up Corey Allman missed a minute ago in a putback, and that's where Denzel Taylor shows you his value.
Well, the last couple of games, you're absolutely right. Denzel Taylor getting starters minutes. And seems to be growing, not that he's not a confident player, but just seems to be growing more confident with almost every quarter that he plays. And
the guys, a post-game interview with Brent Jennings a couple of games ago, he indicated it's really been a marvel watching him. They say a guy his age, a rookie. You know, there's a lot of guys in this league that are newcomers, but not a lot of pure rookies in this league. A lot of them get cut, have to make their bones somewhere else and come back to this league. Not him. He's stuck, and he's stuck because he works hard and he does what he does really well. And actually, we've seen him improve on the offensive end too. He can last couple of games, he's put the ball on the floor a little bit, penetrated to keep guys honest, and he's also been finishing better around the rim.
Well, and credit Coach Joe Salerno for recognizing that level of confidence growing in Denzel Taylor and inserting him into that starting lineup. And you're absolutely right. The defensive side of things has been there all season long, but now we're starting to see it progress into some offense for the 6'8" power forward out of Brampton, Ontario. Some Canadian content for this Magic team.
And if you look at the stats here from the opening half of this first quarter, the stat that sticks out is going to be 2 of 13, and that's Halifax from the field right now. Their entire offense has been courtesy of Antoine Mason, their leading scorer, with 7 points, but on 2 for 7 from the field. No one else has made a shot, and the Magic have done a really good job of playing these big guys like Billy White and CJ Washington and Antoine Mason down low. Not Antoine Mason, but Tyrone Watson. He likes to post up, and down low they've played them one-on-one with no help.
So just a little side note, Coach Mike Leslie from the Halifax Hurricanes coming down to the scorers table and saying that the in-house music is too loud for his liking, saying he was having to scream at his players over top of the music. So I'm not sure if that's a little gamesmanship or if that's Coach Mike Leslie just calling it like he hears it. Here's Taylor now, spin move, goes against the double-team defense, and Taylor goes up against Clinkscales.
And we just talked about it. You got Denzel. You know the guys have confidence. They know they can throw the ball down into Denzel when he's got a mismatch down there, and he can make good stuff happen, and he just did.
So Denzel Taylor at the line now. 10-7 is your score. Moncton Magic leading here at home. This matchup of division rivals. They've met once this year. Earlier this season in Halifax, an overtime victory for the Moncton Magic. 5:49 to go in quarter number one. Getting ready to check into the game for the Halifax Hurricanes, Ramel Brown.
Another one of this wave of big guys that Halifax has, and they lose basically nothing going to the bench with these big guys.
You know, I've said all year that the Moncton Magic lead the league in smiles. I think the Halifax Hurricanes would lead the league in incredibly powerful young men. Oh my goodness, the guys on this team big, strong, powerful guys.
Yeah.
Here's Mason now. One of those guys tries to go to the floor, and Denzel Taylor comes over and swats it away like a mosquito at a picnic.
The eraser inside. That haircut gives him a little look of an eraser, and he's doing the job down inside. Same way. 2 blocks already early for him, and that's the other advantage I have in him. He can guard a wing, go into the hole like that, stay in front of him and block shots.
Another swat away, this time Anthony Cox, who just checked into the game for Jeremy Williams, in a big battle underneath. And the physical matchups continue as Brown, who just checked into the game, had a grab for that ball up against Terry Thomas.
Yeah, Ramel Brown comes in. We talked about you don't lose anything. You don't lose anything in quality, but these big guys that do come off the bench have different strengths than those starters. You're not going to throw the ball down to Ramel Brown and get a lot of post-up scores, but he's going to set great screens. He's going to keep plays alive, get offensive rebounds, and he can make a little jump shot too if you leave him open.
Here's Brown now, gives it off to Clinkscales. Clinkscales dishes it to Watson. They'll work it down into Brown. He tries to back in the defender Cox. 7 seconds on the shot, tried to pass it over, and it was picked off by Thomas, Terry Thomas. He'll bring it back up now, and the Magic will set in their half court. Under 5 minutes to play in this first quarter. 12-7 your score, Magic lead. Denzel Taylor puts it on the floor, then gives it off to Allman. He steps up from outside. Corey couldn't hit that one. Rebound, nice job there to tap it over to Thomas from Cox. And Terry Thomas from the baseline hits the smooth jumper.
Yeah, Terry hasn't had the stroke from the perimeter on those fadeaways, those little jump shots that he loves so much the last couple games, but he's made a couple already tonight. Good signs for him.
10 seconds on the shot clock now. Spin move there as Billy White gives it off to Watson, who gives it to Clinkscales from downtown. That's off the front of the rim, and there's Denzel Taylor with another rebound.
Halifax has just not unlocked this stout Moncton defense so far in this first quarter, but they're defending well enough to stay interested. Only a 7-point lead here.
Clinkscales goes strong, puts the shoulder down into Anderson. Anderson stood his ground, and Clinkscales gets called for the travel.
And if he didn't, guess who was coming in? That was the Ant-Man weak side, going to send that back in Clinkscales' direction, but just nothing going here early for Halifax. They're coming in with Taquan Zimmerman, who's been a little bit on the cold side recently. Only 1 double-digit scoring game in the last 5 for him. Now that was a 24-point eruption against St. John in overtime in a close loss, but hasn't been himself recently from the floor. We'll see if he can shake out of a little mini slump here for him.
Al Stewart just checked into the game, the spark plug for the Moncton Magic. No good there. Kevin Farrell-Thomas newly into the contest as well. Couldn't control the rebound. Back the other way comes Zimmerman. He just checked in for Clinkscales. From the corner, Mason's no good. Rebounded there by Watson. He zips it out to White. Top of the key from well outside. Zimmerman strokes that one, and that's a nice look right there for Taquan Zimmerman.
Yeah, that's a really good sign for Halifax. They needed that bad in a big slump here in this first quarter. But again, their defense keeping them in it.
Kevin Farrell-Thomas now the physical matchup underneath as he goes up against Brown. Shot one off the glass, no good, and the rebound controlled by White. He dishes off to Mason, zips it out to Zimmerman. Al Stewart almost picked it off. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Mason over on the side for Billy White. Back outside, Mason thought about the shot, decides to take it in instead, steps around to the left. Shot's no good, and Brown gets the rebound. Fresh shot clock now for the Halifax Hurricanes. Here's Brown in traffic, dishes it out to Mason, and the big push off there, and they're gonna call the block on Anderson. Anderson thought he had position, but he's gonna get the foul instead.
Yeah, that was a bang-bang one, but I have to lean with the ref on that call as well. Double A was trying to get to that spot. It looked to me, by the naked eye, and we don't have benefit of replay here on everything, but looked to me like he wasn't quite set.
So Jason Caliste into the game, the 3-point specialist for the Moncton Magic. Lots of other facets to the birthday boys game, and we do want to say happy birthday to Jason Caliste. 28 years old today, so happy birthday, Jason. That ball dished inside there, and Ronaldo Dixon turns it over to Terry Thomas. Quick outlet to Caliste, steps up and right away, Jason Cathries makes his presence felt.
Jason stands for jumper, and you show why he's in the game, knocking one down. First opportunity, and Terry Thomas lighten things up on the defensive end early here for the Magic with 3 steals.
Mike Poole into the contest as well now for the Hurricanes. Antoine Mason's been out there the entire time for Halifax. Cox defending on him, and Mason takes it in strong against the 2 big men, Kevin Farrell-Thomas and Anthony Cox. And Anthony Cox is going to take the foul.
And a good foul. He's going to... The thing that's tough about Mason is when he gets, and Zimmerman, when they get in there, is they can finish off the window. If you let them get that ball above their shoulders, they're strong, especially Mason. So you gotta make sure you take one on him if he gets his way into the lane.
And Mason has had a very good start here for the Halifax Hurricanes. Veteran out of Queens, New York, by way of Auburn University. He's been certainly the top performer so far for the Hurricanes here this evening.
Well, he's doing the scoring, but he's only 2 for 11 from the field. He's the guy that's been assigned to take the shots, but they've all been tough shots. They're not getting what they want. Moncton's forcing them into shots that they don't want to take, especially Mason. Basically, 4 3-pointers in a quarter is not what he wants.
Terry Thomas from the corner. Too strong. Cox is there. Had the ball batted away. Gets it right back, and Cox has it swatted away and gets the rebound again. Great offensive glass work there by Anthony Cox, the Ant-Man. Here's Jason Caliste now, double team on him. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it right back. Caliste in traffic. Bounces it to Cox, and Cox favoring the rib cage there. Didn't see what happened.
He took a shot.
And Cox still feeling the effects as he backpedals up the court. So we'll keep an eye on that. 41 in white, Anthony Cox. He's got to defend now at the other end. Hurricanes back with it. And scooping that ball up and underneath was Ronaldo Dixon, and it gets turned aside, and they're going to put it into the possession of the Moncton Magic. But again, tough matchups, tough battles on both ends of the floor.
And a nice job there by Kevin Farrell-Thomas, showing some toughness, stepping up as Washington went to the scoop shot, and then he did what he had. He did exactly what you have to do against this formidable Halifax front court. Forget the ball. When the ball's up on the rim, forget about it. Find a man, get a body into him. And that's exactly what Farrell-Thomas did, and he earned himself a foul from Washington.
Brent Jennings, who had 24 points and 6 triples, as the player of the game the other night against the Island Storm, into the game now, and a rebound again. Williams couldn't get the putback off the miss from Caliste. And again, here come the Hurricanes. Mason, he'll slow it down. Caliste comes out defensively. Mason bounces it to Brown, gets it over to Dixon. Dixon gets the defender in the air, now goes to the corner for Poole. Poole checks the feed, puts the shot up. Not enough mustard on that one. It falls short. Here's Al Stewart. Coast to coast, dishes to Farrell-Thomas. Couldn't get the shot. And back come the Hurricanes as the pace picks up here. Last 20 seconds of the quarter. Mason from downtown hits the shot. And he's going to go to the line. And this could potentially be a 4-point play, which would be big for the Hurricanes.
And a big swing there. Al Stewart on that break did a great job. Holding it, waiting for Kevin Farrell-Thomas to catch up, set him up beautifully, and Farrell-Thomas just missed the bunny, and he's got to convert that in the open court, and went right down the floor, and a 3-point bang for Mason, and he makes the 4-point play.
So that's 13 points in the quarter for Antoine Mason, leading all scorers. Farrell-Thomas now 10 seconds on the on the clock. Shot clock is off. Jennings in a crowd there. Has it knocked away, and they're going to say it last went off a Hurricanes player, so it'll be possession to the Magic. Jennings will inbound with 6 seconds to go here in the quarter. 17-16. The Magic have led the entire way, but the Hurricanes have closed it to a single point here. Time ticking away. They got to do something quick. Jennings is in trouble here. He's in a crowd. The shot turned aside. So the last couple of seconds there, the Magic just couldn't get in sync offensively, and the quarter comes to an end with the Hurricanes making a bit of a run. They've closed it to a 1-point game after an entertaining first 12 minutes.
So the good news for these two squads is they are perfect from the free throw line. The good news offensively ends there for both of these squads. I mean, the numbers are ugly. 4 for 23. Are the Halifax Hurricanes from the field in the first quarter, and 6 for 23 for the Moncton Magic, good for 26% shooting. And yeah, just an ugly quarter from a shot-making perspective here. But if you're a guy that's a fan of tough, hard-nosed defense and execution on that end of the floor, you had to like what you saw in that first quarter.
Well, and, you know, that kind of explains why the teams have had so many opportunities from the line. And yes, they're both teams shooting perfect from the line, but they're both getting to the line because of the incredible intensity on defense being shown by both teams. Pretty much everything that's being put up from the floor is being contested on both ends.
Ultra contested, and the Magic are having the better end of that. They've missed some wide open ones. Halifax, and that's why they've got to be very happy to be down 1 after this quarter. They are not getting really anything they want. A part of a few contested threes that have been knocked down by Antoine Mason on the way to his 13 first quarter points. Really, they haven't gotten anything they want. They like to go down, put that ball down on the post. They like their talented big men to go one-on-one against inferior defenders and earn themselves some easy shots that way. But they've been forced to, they've been played very well by the Moncton interior defense and been forced to kick that ball out and miss some contested, very contested perimeter jumpers.
Now, normally after a quarter, I like to give you the leading score for each team. For the Halifax Hurricanes, I can tell you both scores because there's been only 2 players have scored points. Antoine Mason with 13 of the 16 Hurricanes points. The other 3, Taquan Zimmerman on a 3-point shot for the Moncton Magic. Well, their scoring has been more spread around. Denzel Taylor and Terry Thomas leading the way with 4 points each. So an interesting first quarter to say the least. Big-time defense on both ends of the floor. 17-16 is your score as we start quarter number 2. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley, and our NBL Canada crew. Glad to have you along here on a Saturday. A great crowd at the Coliseum this evening for some NBL basketball. And as Jennings goes in against Brown, Brown swats it away and Jennings down to the floor.
We might have fewer shots that get to the rim than are blocked in this game tonight. Ramel Brown erasing that one from sliding with Brent Jennings and taking one.
Well, this is, of all the games that we've had the pleasure of calling here in Moncton, maybe you can chip in if you feel another way, but certainly to what I've seen through a quarter plus another 18 seconds, the toughest physical play that I've seen consistently throughout 12-plus minutes.
Yeah, not dirty and not clutching and grabbing and not something that the referees are letting get out of control. Any of that. It's just tough, hard-nosed guys. Guys go to make a move, and there's somebody sliding with them, and if they get beat, there is help there, and everybody's sticking to their assignments and making things really tough on everybody on the offensive end of the floor.
Well, defensively, you might say a Goliath versus Goliath, as neither team giving away anything to the other. Jeremy Williams at the line now, looking to hit the second to increase this lead to 3. Jay Will with the nice stroke, and he does indeed hit the second. So a 3-point advantage. Hurricanes with the ball. Taquan Zimmerman, Al Stewart right on him. Dixon came over and ran a little bit of interference. Should say a lot of interference. Mason to Zimmerman. Al Stewart right back on him. Tried to get inside to Brown. Brown steps away from one defender, kicks it outside, now into the corner. Zimmerman outside to Poole for 3, and Poole puts it in, splash from 3.
Another guy that has not shot the ball, the 3-ball well. Mike Poole is very good in the intermediate game from 15 feet and in. 3-pointers not his strength, but again, he knocks enough of them down where you got to at least respect it. But if he makes a lot of those, the Magic are going to say, good job by you and good job by Jeremy Williams with a wing 3.
I was just about to say, at 19 all, it was the first time the Hurricanes had been tied since we were 0-0 to start the game. But Williams with the triple puts the Magic back into the lead. Dixon gets it to Mason. There's that perimeter ball movement again. Mike Poole zips it inside. Brown right there. And defensively coming over was Al Stewart to contest that shot. And again, no matter what, everything being contested. No easy buckets.
Yeah, you see Ramel Brown routinely take a pass 5 feet from the hoop, and he's routinely dunking that home. But the Magic are so effective and quick on the rotations tonight that that's going to be contested every single time. No easy ones in the paint for either team tonight.
So here is Brown. Ramel Brown, one of that contingent of New Yorkers. Ramel Brown, Mike Poole, Cliff Clinkscales, and Antoine Mason, all from New York. Ramel Brown from Brooklyn, and Poole, Clinkscales, and Mason all hailing from the borough of Queens. Not a bad thing when you can have a strong contingent of New Yorkers on your team. Arguably the capital and mecca of basketball in the world. Al Stewart from distance, that's no good. Terrell Baines with the rebound, that's short. Terrell Baines into the contest now, bringing some of his physical play underneath the basket.
And he's played real well lately, and that's a shot that he's been knocking down with regularity.
Poole, that's no good. Jeremy Williams grabs the rebound, gets it into the hands of Jason Caliste.
Great box out by Jeremy Williams, went and nailed Ronaldo Dixon.
10 minutes to go in the half. 22-21 Magic lead. They've led the entire way. Poole coast to coast off glass. Mike Poole doing Rutgers proud there.
He just put his head down and made his way to the rim, and no one got in his way. And an uncharacteristic defensive breakdown by the Magic in the open court there.
Poole, of course, attending Rutgers University in New Jersey. Whenever I think of Rutgers, I always think of Tony Soprano. Loved Rutgers. Anytime anything can make me think of The Sopranos, it makes me happy. One of my all-time favorite shows.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about my favorite Sopranos episodes for the next couple minutes. You're gonna have to take over here for me.
So 9:38 to go in this second quarter. First time that the Halifax Hurricanes have enjoyed the lead. It's 23-22.
I'm humming "Don't Stop Believin'" over here for some reason.
And the Magic won't. Lots of time to go here in this second quarter. Caliste tries to go into a crowd, has it stripped away, and Clinkscales will bring it up the floor for the Hurricanes.
Hands from Clinkscales there. Caliste looking at a wide open lane.
Poole spins around like a whirlpool right there and puts the shot up, and now Mike Poole heating up for the Hurricanes. Nice look inside Baines, nobody there, wide open underneath as Baines took that pass inside and gets the easy bucket.
And a pretty feed from Caliste. He hasn't shown off his playmaking skills, but he's definitely got them to use.
Ronaldo Dixon tried to get it inside to Poole. Hurricanes perhaps feeling how hot Poole is, going to try and feed him just a little bit. But
Ronaldo Dixon, another one of these guys. We talked about underrated post players. Ronaldo Dixon plays only 10 minutes a game for this team, but any other squad in this league, it'd be at least double that. And he does so many things well. Can shoot the three a little bit. He's tough defensively. Can put the ball on the floor and play make. I mean, he's got skills, and he's very unselfish coming off the bench and playing a role the way he does.
Gets the ball to Stewart. Stewart into a crowd. Shot rolls around the rim, and the Hurricanes grab the defensive glass. Clinkscales gives it over to Poole. Poole feeling it right now, but decides to dish off to Cliff. Clinkscales now. Jennings on him. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Trying to find it inside. Dixon was there. Now they'll get it to him. Dixon. Nice feed inside, and Brown hammers it home. Ramel Brown says, "How do you like me now?"
Yeah, we talked about it. He's good for one or two of those hammer dunks a game, and you find him down there, those wide shoulders and big frame. He's gonna put you and the ball through the hoop if you're in his way.
Baines takes it in strong, went high off the glass, and Brown grabs the rebound. Here come the Hurricanes again. 3-point lead for Halifax. 27-24, 7:49 to go in the half. From downtown, that shot is hit from Taquan Zimmerman. And now we'll have some substitutions coming in here. Anthony Anderson back into the game for the Moncton Magic, and Billy Washington is going to check back in.
Billy White
going to check back in for Halifax. So 30-24. So the Hurricanes, who hadn't led until about 3 or 4 minutes ago, have seen the lead now go to 6 at 30-24 with 7:45 to go in the second quarter. And I don't think Coach Joe Salerno was digging the way the last couple minutes have gone here for the Magic.
Well, no, and they have, and the way that they executed their offense the other night against Island. Now, mind you, if you play the tape back to back, the way the Island played defense the other night, I think Coach Tim Kendrick would admit is not at the level at which Halifax is up in Moncton's face and making it more difficult for them. The two are not comparable, but still, you got to run your stuff. We're seeing the Magic fall into the trap that the Halifax Hurricanes started out the game with, which is taking difficult contested shots that isn't typically a part of their offense. Terrell Baines putting the ball on the floor and penetrating. That's not his typical game. Things like this, you got to create shots that you're comfortable with within the realm of your offense and finish them. And the guys just aren't finishing them. 8 for 30 now. They are from the field for 26% so far in the game.
So far, 7:45 to go in the second quarter, but the Hurricanes, a much better result here. They only scored 16 points all told in the first quarter. They've already scored 14 here in the second and have outscored Moncton 14-7 without quite half of the second quarter gone by. And the shooting percentage has definitely gone up for Halifax, now shooting at a 31% clip.
And they come back too with Denzel Taylor and Terry Thomas do the magic, along with Brent Jennings and Corey Allman, and just trying to unlock a combination here that gets some things going offensively. And if I had to pick one, this would be a good one here with Denzel doing the dirty work and shooters all over the place. We'll see if this makes things easier for the Magic.
So Terry Thomas being watched there by Poole. Anthony Anderson puts it on the floor, now gives it to Allman, gets it right back. Anthony Anderson spins around on that pivot foot looking for somewhere to go with it. He gives it to Jennings, left-handed shot from the corner, no good. Brown with the rebound. Here comes Clinkscales for the Hurricanes. 6-point advantage for Halifax. Clinkscales now slows it right down for Halifax. 11 seconds to go on the shot clock. Looking for somewhere to go with it. Lobs it all the way inside there for Billy White. Gets it over for Poole, and Poole just puts up the little right-hand floater, and Poole right now can't miss.
And they've gone to some movement here, have Halifax that's stymied, that's confused Moncton a little bit offensively, and Moncton's doesn't have quite that same intensity level to be on the ball on every pass denial that they started the game with. And another miss from Terry Thomas.
Here's Clinkscales up for White, and White hammers it down the alley from Clinkscales, and a big bam oop from Billy White.
No one throws a better oop in the NBL than Cliff Clinkscales, and he's done it for years. And Billy White is so often that connection on the other end.
Showtime right there for Halifax on the road. Terry Thomas now baseline hits the jumper, and the Magic needed that. Terry Thomas.
I desperately needed one. And that was a lucky bounce. Brent Jennings again, solid defending from the Hurricanes, and up another one goes for Mason, and he was feeling a little bit.
Terry Thomas grabs the defensive board, and now they'll slow it down. Jeremy Williams getting ready to check back in for the Magic. Anderson into Thomas. If Thomas can get heated up, that's going to be a good sign for the Magic. And Thomas takes it strong into the lane against a couple of defenders. And I think the foul.
I think that's what you want Terry to do. Put that ball on the floor. Get a man in your hip, whether you're going right or left. Get that. Once he gets that hip into you, and he lowers that shoulder. He doesn't lower it into your chest. He lowers that shoulder, gets you real low, and gets around you and creates contact so often. If he can get that game going a little bit, as physical as this game's been, we'll probably see the fouls start to climb here for whoever's guarding Mr. Thomas in the half court.
11 on the shot clock. Corey Allman, and they're going to call the foul inside, and it's going to be on Denzel Taylor. It was away from the play. Denzel Taylor, I believe, was battling with Clinkscales underneath the basket and got called away from the ball for the foul, so it turns the ball over to Halifax.
And Coach Salerno's not happy about that call. Didn't see it very clearly on my end. The referee's clear explanation was Denzel Taylor was not set, was moving, setting that screen.
Inside, rejected. Rebound comes down to the Hurricanes.
Denzel Taylor again.
C.J. Washington trying to get it, but there was Denzel. Terry Thomas, corner for Allman. He wants it. Nope, too strong. Battle for it underneath. Billy White was there, as was Denzel Taylor, and it went off a Magic player. So the Hurricanes will get possession here with 5:25 to go in the second quarter, and it's a 34-26 lead for Halifax. A much better second quarter for the visitors.
Just some cold shooting right now for the Magic, and that's been, when they've struggled this year, it's been that cold shooting that's been the culprit. And Denzel again with a piece, but nobody rotated over to help him out.
C.J. Washington grabs the offensive rebound and gets the putback. And
that's why it's so key for whoever's guarding Antoine Mason to keep him in front of you. He gets in there. Even if he misses, he creates so much havoc.
Double A havoc. Anthony Anderson with the strong move to the bucket. I was just about to say the first double-digit lead, and it was 10-point lead for the Hurricanes, but after that bucket from Anderson, it's now 8 at 36-28 for Halifax. Look at Billy White, little spin move there, first one way, then back the other, and from a couple of feet, no problem there for Billy White, the second leading scorer on the season for the Hurricanes at 18.1 a game.
The Hurricanes are carving out better space and lower space closer to the hoop to make those to make those posts up better available. It's not mid-post, it's now low post.
Clinkscales from well downtown as both teams exchange long-range shots and both miss. Jeremy Williams at one end and then Clinkscales back the other.
Yeah, Clink likes to mix in that three-point shot where he's stepping into it in the half court, keep teams honest. He doesn't shoot a lot of them, but he's got to get one up when he's open now and then to keep teams honest, and he does a good job of that, picking his spots.
Terry Thomas, Williams runs the screen. Thomas gives it off to Taylor. Taylor, little dish to Anderson. Anderson goes in against Clinkscales and three others. Tap back there. Denzel Taylor grabs the board off the glass. Again, the putback. Two in a row. Big man Denzel Taylor says, "Get off my glass. I want it." He got it, and he gets the bucket.
There's the Windex man, and there's Jeremy Williams stepping in for a nice steal.
Jay Will all the way. Goes up and in. Williams takes it to the bucket, gets the deuce, and now the Magic making a bit of a run here, 38-32.
And we got to see more of that. The Magic have not been creating much havoc defensively lately. That's a better job by Jeremy. So that's what you do right there in that half court. What Jeremy did there, he forced Billy White to catch it much further away from the hoop. And Billy's not comfortable out there. He's going to give it up and want to repost. But he miscommunication with his point guard, and the ball was out of bounds. And now the Magic get another chance to cut into this lead a little bit.
Here we take a look at that nice outlet from Corey Allman, getting it up ahead for Jay Will. Williams, little half Euro step, goes to the swooping runner and got the bucket. Corey Allman from outside. Allman for the first time, and Corey, my oh my, he's got the phone out of his pocket once again.
Calling long distance. I don't know who's at the other end, but they're happy the other night with 6 threes from him. Let's see if they get another call from him.
Well, he's got to be calling back to someone in D.C. on Team Almond Joy. And watch out if Corey can heat up from outside. Here's Billy White. Jeremy Williams right in his back pocket.
And again, Jeremy Williams forcing that offense, that Billy White to start out away from the hoop. And as we see sometimes, Billy, we love Billy, he plays so hard every game, but he can get frustrated a little bit. If he can get under his skin, starts throwing those hands up. And
that time after that play, he had words for his teammate Ronaldo Dixon, and Denzel Taylor goes up and jams it right in between the rim and the glass. A bit of a chuckle there from his teammates.
Did get hit. It's not going to count. Fans are calling for a count the hoop, but it's going to be 2 shots for Denzel, and he's doing work here in the first half, his young Mr. Taylor.
Well, somebody must have put some WD-40 on the mechanism that holds the pendulum, because the momentum has been swinging wildly from one side to the other here in this second quarter. Halifax broke away, had the 10-point lead, but the Magic have come right back. Some uncharacteristic turnovers from the Hurricanes, and now as Denzel Taylor hits that shot from the line, it's back to a 1-point game. Hurricanes lead 38-37. 2:22 to go here in the half. Dixon gives it to Watson, gets it right back to Dixon. Taylor with a hand on him, puts the shot up. That's no good. Rebounded there smartly. Clinkscales puts it down into the corner. Mason steps back, puts the shot up, and there's a nice bucket from the corner by Antoine Mason. There's a reason he leads the Hurricanes on scoring with 19.4 a game.
That's where they kill you. If you let them have those second chance opportunities, you're going to pay for it.
Terry Thomas, bit of a wild-looking shot. Allman just puts it up. The stroke there. Too strong back of the rim, but it comes right to Denzel Taylor. Probably one of the easier rebounds that Denzel will get all night.
He'll take it.
Right to him. Anthony Anderson between the legs, and they're going to call that away. They're going to call the foul, I believe.
Billy White again is imploring his teammates to do something that he feels they should be doing. Who knows what it is. But he was matched up in a one-on-one matchup with Anthony Anderson, and that's going to be tough for Billy to deal with, and he picked up the foul. But the story so far, if you're a Moncton Magic fan, is the work done by Jeremy Williams and Denzel Taylor to get the Magic back in the game here in this second quarter, down by 4. And 4 minutes ago, the Magic would have taken that score, I think, Scott.
So 1:40 to go in the half. Again, this quarter, it's been a quarter of runs and a very entertaining game so far for what is perhaps one of the largest, if not the largest crowd of the season here for the Moncton Magic. A great crowd on a Saturday night.
Yeah, undoubtedly the largest crowd of the season here. I'd say we're pushing 3,000 people in here tonight, and that's a good crowd from Moncton. So nice to see the support, and I think part of it is, listen, Halifax fans travel well, and I know we got lots of Halifax fans listening, and shout out to you guys and Vince Williams and the guys that do such a good job on the call on the Halifax end. We love listening to you guys and learn a lot every time we listen to your broadcast. So kudos to you, and thanks for everybody from Halifax joining in. I think they travel just as well as, probably better than any fans in this league, to the Halifax Hurricanes fans.
Well, they get nice crowds there as well for their home games at the Scotiabank Centre. And indeed, welcome to all of you Halifax Hurricanes fans watching on the live stream or on 5 TV1 Channel 1 for 5 customers in Atlantic Canada, whether you're in Halifax or other parts. Lots of Hurricanes fans around, and you're seeing an entertaining game. And sometimes you watch two teams play, and you can't help but think, my, oh my, wouldn't it be fun to watch these two teams in a playoff series, to do this several games in a row.
Yeah, we could very well get that. This could easily be a preview of the Atlantic Division Final, or really a first-round matchup. You never know. This Atlantic Division has a lot of parity right now. And guess who on the offensive glass?
Denzel Taylor. He just has the knack and the ability to be at the right place at the right time. Anthony Anderson now, looking for somewhere to go. Goes right, goes left, puts it up off the right hand, gets the bounce, doesn't go. Taylor got a hand on it, but the Hurricanes will grab it, and it's Clinkscales.
Yeah, made up for a really difficult finish there. The Hurricanes, again, keeping AA mostly in front of them. AA is so good at finishing through that contact with these big, strong Halifax guys, make it that much more difficult.
Under a minute to go in the second quarter. Tried to feed it inside, and again, that lockdown defense. Here's Allman, steps up from 3. Corey just couldn't get it. Williams with the rebound.
Jeremy Williams.
Jeremy, big time on the offensive glass. Corey with the long-range shot, and the putback by Jay.
The Albatross took flight there. Finished with a big one.
He did indeed, using every bit of that big wingspan. Did 21 in White. Here's White, speaking of White. Shot's no good. Williams trying to get that rebound, and a battle for it there as he came up against Ronaldo Dixon down in the corner.
And he's doing a good job on Billy White tonight too, making it difficult. And here comes, we see the replay here. Corey Allman confident in the rise and fire. And one of the reasons he's confident is because he knows he's got guys like Jeremy Williams and Mr. Denzel Taylor following his shot every single time.
So about a 4-second differential between the shot and the game clock. 18 on the shot, 22 on the game. Clinkscales now. Halifax is going to want to take this right down and not leave Moncton any opportunity for a final possession. Anderson reaches in from behind. Cliff puts the shot up, and he gets that little running shot to go. 6 seconds left now. Moncton's got to hurry. Anderson with some pace, looking to go coast to coast. Anthony with the left-handed floater. Denzel Taylor tried to get the putback, and I think he's going to draw the foul.
Indeed he is, and his huge half continues. Just unguardable on the offensive glass right now for the Hurricanes is Denzel Taylor, and he's doing a good job on the defensive end as well. With, I think, we'll have to check the halftime stats, but by my count, he's up to 4 blocks. And just keeping his team in it, and a couple big free throws here would send the team into the half. And a good note, he's going to have to settle for 1 out of 2 if he makes this second one. He'd been perfect on the night from the line so far at 4 for 4, but he's drops him to 4 for 5 now. Almost a double-double in this half for Denzel.
9 rebounds, and that point gives him 9 on the game. And the half expires, and my goodness, what an entertaining half it was between the Halifax Hurricanes, the visitors on the road, and the home side Moncton Magic. All I know is I'll take a little more of that in the second half.
Yeah, not often you get a 43-40 basketball half that's that entertaining. But look, if you love defense and you love toughness and you love guys putting forth maximum effort, I mean, you can't argue with any of that. Yeah, a lot of missed shots in that half. 29%. The Magic ended the half at, and what did I see there? 35% on the field goal end for Halifax. So nothing to write home about for either squad from the field, but just such determination and toughness defensively from both squads. Just kept this a really entertaining half. You're right, Scott.
Well, we're going to step aside, but I would encourage you to watch the entertainment as Dance Chaos back onto the floor again to entertain you and the crowd here for the halftime. The Moncton Magic were outscored in that second quarter, 27-23 by the Hurricanes. 43-40 is your score after 2 quarters of play. Leading scorers for the Halifax Hurricanes, Antoine Mason, 4 of 13 from the floor, 3 of 6 from three-point line, 5 of 5 from the line. He had 16. Mike Poole with 9 points. And for your Moncton Magic, leading scorer was Jeremy Williams with 12. He had 5 rebounds, and the big night on the glass for Denzel Taylor so far, 9 rebounds, 9 points. So we'll step aside, take a break. Dance Chaos will bring a little chaos, the good kind.
Choreography by Scott Squires.
Well, I don't know if that was the case. They probably wouldn't need so many. 43-40 is your score. Second half action coming your way in just over 13 minutes. You're watching Moncton Magic Basketball. so then they went like super slow-mo, so you see like skin on his face, ripple his nose, flat. Moments away from the start of the second half between the Halifax Hurricanes, the visitors, taking on the Moncton Magic. After one half of play, the Halifax Hurricanes leading the Magic 43-40. This Magic team 5-5 in their last 10, their last game. 113-88 victory at home versus the Island Storm. And for the Halifax Hurricanes, they are 11-7 overall on the season, leading the Atlantic Division. 8-4 in the conference. They're 6-4, David, in their last 10. And their last game, it was a big victory. They put kind of a beating on the London Lightning. It was in Halifax, but it was a 131-103 drubbing that the Hurricanes handed the Lightning. And the Hurricanes in that game shot 50 of 97 from the floor for 51.5% from the field.
Yeah, and some of those, and they, again, did not shoot the ball well from three-point land, but made enough to keep them honest, kind of the way they've done in this half right now, in the first half here tonight. But they handled them. It wasn't close, and it looked like kind of two different classes of team on the floor. But I mean, look, that's London. Just to speak briefly about them, if you look at them really closely, they just outscore teams. They haven't turned up that defense, and they tend to do that when March rolls around towards the playoffs because they know they need it. You watch them this time of year, typically they are just freewheeling, outscoring, switching everything defensively, not really showing it much, and Halifax made them pay dearly with 131 on them and played them very well defensively at the other end. And 103 points for London's well below their average.
So we are underway in the second half. Halifax Hurricanes wearing their sharp-looking navy blue with the light blue and white trim, now going left to right on your screen. And Allman for three. Great way to start the half.
And it's going to be an and one because Denzel Taylor forced Antoine Mason to give him a two-hand push in the back because he missed the box out. And it's going to be an additional possession here for the Magic as that was as the ball was in the air. So again, Denzel Taylor, just a monster.
So a good start for Moncton. They tied up with the three-pointer from Almond, and on that foul, they get possession right back. In the half court now, moving that ball around the perimeter. Anderson bounces it to Williams, wide open for three. Williams too strong. There's Taylor again.
It's
my
comical
goodness
at this point.
And Anderson now lights it up from outside. Anthony Anderson with the triple.
And Denzel is talking about it. He's confident in his game too. He knows the job he's doing down there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Denzel Taylor has not met a rebound he doesn't like here in this game tonight. Just electrifying on the glass at both ends of the floor is number 5 in white, Denzel Taylor.
I mean, I don't use this name lightly because I'm an old Chicago Bulls fan, but I mean, it's Rodman-esque, the effect that he's had on the game tonight.
They ran out of time on the shot clock, and Magic will bring it up the floor. Here's Anderson again. Gives it to Thomas. Thomas feeds it over there. And Klingscales was in front of Almond, and Corey lost the handle, and it goes out of bounds. So the Magic turn the ball over here. So a quick pace to start early in this quarter. Klingscales moves it outside to Billy White. 13 seconds on the shot clock. This is Washington. Tried to give it outside to Watson. Bounce to Mason. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Mason just steps up. That shot's no good, and Terry Thomas gobbles up that rebound. And look at him, like a track star, going from one end of the floor to the other as he charges right into the paint.
Magic have just come out here on fire out of the break and just step quicker than Halifax and playing harder than Halifax. And Halifax has got to turn up the heat on the burner here, catch up to Moncton's intensity to start this half.
So a 6-0 run here to start this third quarter. 46-43. Magic leading. Corey tried to get the defender in the air, steps in. That shot goes off the back, and look at who gets the rebound, puts it back. Mr. Rebound himself, Denzel, the glass master, Taylor.
Yeah, he's a double-double already for the Windex man.
Here's White, nice bounce pass inside, going strong to the bucket there, and Denzel Taylor creating the defensive resistance underneath as...
Looks like it was Jeremy Williams. It's probably going to be the one that earned the foul.
So Antoine Mason took it in strong, and it is Williams indeed. That's the second foul on Jay Will. Mason will go to the line.
But again, if you're gonna give some up to Halifax offensively, you know, giving a hard foul on a drive to the hoop isn't the worst thing in the world. And the Magic have just really come out here like a house on fire with the intensity that Halifax is going to lift, and you'd expect them to.
So Mason hits that first one and ends the 8-0 run, misses the second. Thomas grabs it now and puts it into the hands of Anthony Anderson. Here's double A. Calmly brings the ball up the floor for the Magic. Corey Almond out at the top there, being watched by Klingscale, steps around the interference from Taylor, then gets it to Thomas. Thomas had it swatted away, ball to the floor. Almond in the corner. Nope, that's no good. And getting the rebound is Denzel Taylor. We might have to start looking at what the record is for rebounds in a game here if this stays going for Denzel.
Lather, rinse, repeat down there. Every offensive possession for the Magic right now is ending with a Denzel Taylor offensive rebound. At least on the offensive glass, we would have to start looking at that record. Up to 12 rebounds overall already to go with his 11 points in a double-double for the mini Rodman here.
So White, Halifax now trailing by 4. White again, double team pressure, gets it out to Mason. Mason looks around, dishes to Watson. Watson takes it strong into the glass, up off the glass, and he'll get the foul called, and he'll go to the line. So nice move there as Tyrone Watson, the Canadian out of Hamilton, Ontario.
And he's been effectively eliminated in this game so far. Almost nothing to show for his score sheet. 0 for 2 from the field and 2 rebounds, and that is not typical of this Canadian, all-Canadian performance level. He was exactly that in the 2014-15 season in the NBL. He was voted the best Canadian in the league, and with good reason. This guy does so many things on the defensive end from a toughness perspective and posting up smaller guards on the offensive end. He hasn't gotten that chance tonight. Terry Thomas has done the job on him.
So a good trip to the line there for Watson. 2-point lead for the Magic. Just underway here And Williams steps up. That's no good. And Mason flies in to grab the rebound for Halifax. Mason coast to coast to the right hand. Too weak there, and Brown follows up. Good follow by Ramel Brown as he gets the offensive rebound from the coast-to-coast effort from Mason, and we're back to a tie game, 48-all. Anthony Anderson now gives it off to Thomas. Thomas, hard to the rim, and Thomas off the front of the iron and down to the floor, and it's turned over. They'll try it again. Corey Allman, you know what he wants to do? Corey hits the three! Get the phone out, Corey!
Long distance.
He's got to be on an unlimited plan because he's been calling left and right in the last 2 games. And now Halifax tries to answer back. And Antoine Mason, well, he's not calling anybody, but he's hitting the three just the same from the corner.
And again, that's what you want him doing, but that's his 4th on the night. So it is something that he's got his groove started there a little bit tonight. And double A. And double A, again, as we do every game, we don't talk about him very much because his stuff that he does, the way he fits on this team is so seamless. And it's underrated almost. Double A's become on the squad this year, which is hard to do for the all-time leading scorer. But one aspect I got in my mind there a couple defensive possessions ago is how well he's performed on the defensive end tonight. He's been a very underrated part, leaving his man to go double team and then recover as a guy off of clink scales. And he's doing a really good job showing double teams and then recovering to clink scales and really bothering those big guys down low. He just did it again. Billy White had to give up the ball.
So Caliste and Cox back into the game for the Moncton Magic. Jeremy Williams and Corey Allman will take a seat. 7:35 to go in the third quarter. 6 seconds on the shot clock, so Halifax will have to hurry here. Clink Scales goes over. Looks like he's going to inbound it for the Hurricanes.
And Ant-Man came in, Anthony Cox, and he's going to match up with Ramel Brown. They're going to leave Denzel with a difficult task on Billy White.
White left-handed stroke, no good, and Taylor tried to get to the rebound, and he collided hard with Antoine Mason, and they're going to say it went off of Mason, so that'll make Denzel feel a little better.
It looks like they said that Denzel swiped at it and knocked it off of Antoine Mason, and not much of a protest from Mason, so it's probably right.
Coach Leslie looked a little confused, however, it stays with the Magic. And here's Anthony Coxon away from the ball. Antoine Mason comes together with Caliste, and they're going to call the foul away from the ball on Mason.
Antoine Mason took a shot to the head coming around there from Caliste, but he grabbed him first, so it was a good call there.
So that's the 3rd foul on Antoine, so we'll keep an eye on that. Terry Thomas to inbound, 15 on the shot clock.
Yeah, a lot of clutching and grabbing going on these screens. And the refs have done a good job of making sure that hasn't gotten dirty.
Caliste under a double team pressure, and they're going to call it on clink scales, I believe.
I think it's on Billy White, actually.
Yeah, it is on White.
Yeah, with the swipe.
So Caliste was in trouble down there in the corner, but he stayed active and drew the foul.
And every screen and every motion is contested, and there's a lot of clutching and grabbing going on here on shooters. And it's probably going to get worse here. We'll see if the refs make a move to clean anything up here a little bit as the game goes on. Great screen there by Ant-Man.
Well, it's been a physical affair right from the outset. We mentioned it from the beginning, and it stayed that way all night long. Here's Cox to the right hand. Anthony Cox gets it to go. The DC villain wearing the Joker socks here today. Makes the nice move inside.
And a really quick, explosive move there from Ant-Man off a sweet pocket pass there. The screen and roll from Caliste.
Mason now steps up trying to say that he was fouled. And Coach Leslie now will come over and call timeout.
And I think he tried to sell him on that one. The ball came off his hand funny, and it looked to me like he was trying to sell that. And there was no go from the referees.
And again, just mentioning the socks that Anthony Cox is wearing. It's a theme.
You got to mention it.
It's a theme that Anthony has started all season long. He's a fan of old school retro cartoons and certain cartoon characters. And I said, what do you got for us tonight? And he strolled out onto the court just prior to tip-off, and he showed off the Joker socks. So thus the DC villain call there.
Someone needs to start a Twitter feed.
Just Cox's socks.
Cox's socks. That could get dangerous, so make sure the spelling's right on that, people.
6:44 left in this third quarter. Halifax Hurricanes calling time. 55-51 is your score.
And as entertaining as that first half was, I have enjoyed the heck out of these last 5 minutes and 15 or 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Pardon me, here this quarter. Just the intensity and the effort and the will at each end defensively. We talked about the clutching and grabbing. There is a little bit of that, but it's not gotten so there's no flow to it. Just everything is so contested. Every cut, every screen, and I think it's being well called here. It's not a situation that's become unwatchable, and yeah, that's all you can really ask for from two such tough teams here, tough-minded too on both ends of the floor.
Well, in last night's game, Toronto Raptors game, Leo Routens and Matt Devlin, the commentators for that Raptors broadcast, at one point, because the NBA refs have been taking a beating lately, and then they talked about just how tough it is, not just in the NBA, but just how tough it is overall to officiate basketball. It's a fast-paced game. The fans are up close and personal with the players. You can see and hear everything. And more often than not, you find these big size mismatches underneath the bucket or in and around the paint. So when you sit here floor level like we do, you just see how difficult a task it is to officiate these games where these players are so fast, so quick. Speaking of fast and quick, Anthony Anderson steps back. Shot rolls around the rim, couldn't get it to go, and Cox.
Good effort there by Ant-Man, though. He's trying to get everything's getting, the Magic are getting a hand on so many rebounds on the offensive end, even the ones they don't get.
15-8. Moncton outscoring Halifax in this quarter. Brown with the strong rebound. High off glass, put back there. A nice job by Billy White to gather up that offensive rebound and get the two-point putback.
And Ramel Brown doing his best Denzel Taylor impression there.
Anderson being guarded by White. Anderson will step back outside, looking to get it into Cox. Changes his mind. And White tried to say that it was a travel, but instead it's a foul.
And Coach Leslie was looking for a travel there, but didn't seem to be that AA moved his foot. And Denzel Taylor made a good cut there to come get that ball, give them some relief down there if that entry pass can't get in.
Foul call was on Taquan Zimmerman, his second. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Nice job there by Mason to intercept that pass and dishing it inside. Clink scales off glass and in. Great bucket in transition. And it's a 55 all game. We're tied again.
Yeah, that was a tough pass from Caliste. Had very little success rate of a bullet pass cross court like that against a team like the Hurricanes.
Cox now going in against Brown. Dropped the shoulder. And the call is made. So Anthony Cox trying to establish himself in the paint.
He's probably got a little quickness advantage there with Ramel. Ant-Man's not a guy that's, he's a guy that you can throw it down there and get a bucket from, especially when he's got a little bit of a quickness or size mismatch, and they have immediately switched that. Gone back to Ramel Brown on Denzel Taylor, and Billy White's going to match up with Cox. A little better quickness matchup there for the Hurricanes.
Anderson with the ball in his hands now, gives it to Caliste. Caliste steps in, bounces it to Cox, over the head to Taylor. Taylor gets it to go. My goodness, what a sequence there as Cox had the fancy little play. The former Globetrotter with the over-the-head pass and the nice finish by Taylor.
Was that Bird to McHale in there down low? No, Ant-Man to the eraser. Denzel with a pretty reverse.
So Anthony Cox, he's wearing the Joker socks, but he was no joke there as he feeds the nice pass, and Taylor got the bucket, couldn't finish the and one, but he'll take the 2 points. And that is the lead right now for the Magic, 57-55.
Jason Caliste, nice job getting through that screen on Mason. And that's what this game requires. Just that you can't take any cuts or movements off. Everything's got to be precise.
Good ball movement here by the Hurricanes. Clink Scales takes it inside, no good. Brown was there for the rebound. Dishes outside to Mason. He'll charge right back in. Mason goes to the right hand, gets the bucket, and he'll draw the foul. So Antoine Mason continuing to lead the way offensively for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he's a guy, he'd much rather be hit. He'd much rather take that contact when he's going to the rim than have a wide open layup. Sometimes you got to feel like he just loves finishing through contact and getting that and one.
Mason 6 of 7 from the line, make that 6 of 8, leading the Hurricanes, in scoring, 22 on the night. Anderson in traffic goes up against the bigger Brown. and he'll go to the line, and he's talking to the referee the whole time. Anthony's still in the ear of Ryan Lutz.
And Ryan Lutz gave him a that's enough. Okay, now he said that's twice. So Double A's doing some communicating there with the referee, but you like it when you see that too, when you see not the quick tee, but the discussion that they have, the running commentary. They'll give these professional guys some slack if they're respectful, and Double A was respectful enough to Mr. Lutz to let it go by. And Brent Jennings checking in. He's been quiet tonight, coming off a player of the game performance last time out with 26 in a win here against the Island.
So back to offense for the Hurricanes, and Coach Leslie from the Hurricanes again down talking to the scorers table here, and I believe again it was about the level of the in-house music. Clinkscales dishes off, perimeter ball movement down into the corner. White takes it, baseline, Billy White pounds it down, flexes the muscle, and comes back up the floor. But my goodness, the Las Vegas, Nevada native hammered it down.
Yeah, just a big miscommunication all the way around there for the Magic.
Anderson lost the handle, got it right back. 6 on the shot. Anderson, strong in, floats it up, and gets it to go. And now you feel the intensity starting to ratchet up a little here. Clinkscales.
Double A's frustrations ratcheting up with it. He's got to be careful here. That was a pretty blatant effort to show up the refs there a little bit from across the court. That's the stuff they don't like. He might be right.
Now they're going to call Mason on the travel. Terry Thomas likes the call as he was pressuring with some defense down on that side. So now Coach Salerno up off the bench calling the play here to Anderson, who brings the ball up the floor for the Moncton Magic. They lead by 2, 3:27 to go. Long range Anderson off the side of the rim. Cox underneath, right hand off glass and down, and the Ant-Man flexes the muscle as he gets the bucket.
Great job there by Jennings. He could have easily just grabbed that, but he decided to go right Anthony Cox with one hand, and the Ant-Man finished with the left hand.
12 seconds to go on the shot clock. Klingscale scoops it inside. There's White underneath. And now Billy White trying to establish himself here and take this game over for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he was quiet in the first half, and he's been anything but quiet with his play or with his use of the verbosity here with his teammates and with his opponents.
Well, you know, and not saying it's the case, but perhaps Joe Salerno, the coach of the Magic, sensing a little bit about what you were talking about with the frustration level of Anthony Anderson starting to rise. So he brings Anderson out of the game for a bit of a breather. Al Stewart into the game now, and he brings it up the floor for Moncton.
Yeah, I think it was about that time to go back to Al anyway. So
Thomas off the nice little feed there, and Terry Thomas from 18 feet loves it.
That's a pretty called play, and that's when you get Terry moving across with no resistance, that's trouble.
Here's Billy White. He's been very good the last few trips down the floor for Halifax. Spins away from the defender, Jennings. Shot wouldn't go. Al Stewart with the rebound. Stewart goes by Clinkscales, and Clinkscales is going to take the foul.
And that's where Klink struggles a little bit. If you can say he's got a part to his game, he's going to struggle with quick guys in the open floor like that. He's going to have to give some fouls in those situations quite a bit.
So that's the second foul on Cliff. And again, that'll send Al Stewart to the line. And Al, one of these guys that can just get things going when he checks into the game. I nicknamed him the spark plug last year when he was with the Island Storm, and he's had the ability to do it.
And Clinkscales is a little frustrated with himself there. He looked up at the clock and gave a grimace. I think he thought they had at least one more foul to give. Didn't realize he was putting Al at the line for 2, but Al missed the first one.
Second from Al. Better there for the Chicago native. 66-62, this very tough and hard-nosed defensive battle continuing. 4-point lead with 2:30 left to go in the third quarter. And Zimmerman will bring it up the floor for the Hurricanes. Kalist on him. The two number 2s come together. Zimmerman takes it down deep. He'll spin away. Get it out to White.
Zimmerman and Poole were part of the team, part of the crowd that got them back into it. And there goes Poole again.
Too strong, back of the iron, slapped away.
And a good box out there from Brent Jennings. That's what you got to do, stick those box outs on these guys. And Ramel Bound tried to get up over the top and knock it free, but He had to go climb the back with Mr. Jennings.
So again, 4-point lead here, 2:36 to go in this third quarter. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley, bringing you the broadcast from the Moncton Coliseum.
Sorry, it was Billy White climbing the back, not wrong lefty. Billy White climbing the back, not Mr. Brown.
So Jennings will go to the line.
Billy's big quarters brought him up to nearly a double-double himself here, 11 points, 9 boards on the night.
And that's the first points on the evening for Brent Jennings as he hits the first. Jennings was the guy the other night against the Island Storm with 24 points, player of the game, but he's been quiet tonight. It's been other of his teammates on the Magic who have led the way, but a couple of free throws there will help the cause. Kalist, again, providing that pressure on Zimmerman. The chant of defense now going up here in the crowd at the Moncton Coliseum. Billy White once again down there. And that shot from Zimmerman was short. Here comes Terry Thomas. Thomas to Kalist. Don't think he meant to, but it worked anyway. Jennings inside to Cox. Cox zips it over. Thomas from outside. Terry Thomas pounds the fist, and finally he says, I got something to go.
Yeah, and Terry, that's a beautiful pass. Anthony Cox, the Ant-Man, rifled it right into the shooting pocket to Terry Thomas on the rise and fire.
Zimmerman outside. Poole will try to answer back, and he does. Mike Poole says, anything you can do, I can do too. And now Stewart pace back the other way to the right hand. Al Stewart, the veteran with the pretty pace and the pretty bucket.
Quick as you like, 2 little head fakes left, the 2 Hurricanes in the dust.
Checking into the game for the first time, Brian Rouse, native of Mississauga, Ontario, played his basketball at St. Mary's University. Certainly Brian Rouse and Theon Reefer, 2 members of the Halifax Hurricanes who played for St. Mary's, would be familiar with young Mr. Marquise Clayton.
I'm looking up for a replay of that Al Stewart move. He caught the ball at 3/4 court and about, seemed like in a blink of an eye, he was laying it in. That was gorgeous.
Well, Al Stewart, the spark plug, doing what Al Stewart does. 8-point lead for the Magic. Rouse gets it inside to White against Cox. White almost lost the handle, and then as the pressure came from Al Stewart helping out Cox, the ball went out of bounds.
And that's a play call. That's a design play to get Billy moving to the left on a little curl there. And when he gets moving to the left on a curl, if you don't meet him, you're dead. And Ant-Man, there was very little he could do by the time Billy White had the ball in the middle of the key with 2 hands on it.
Moncton outscoring Halifax 33-23 after that free throw from White so far in this third quarter with 57.3 to go.
And it's really been with help from up and down the roster. Nobody dominating the score sheet for the Magic right now. 4 guys in double figures, and Corey Allman's next point, he'll join them.
There comes Al Stewart, blows by the defender, right to the rack. Al Stewart, my goodness, the quickness from the veteran right there.
The flash, just a blur going by us and beating the whole team to the rim.
Al Stewart trying to turn the tide here and keep the momentum going for the Magic. 34 seconds to go in the quarter. Poole puts it on the floor, goes to the right hand, little runner off glass and in. Nice look there from Mike Poole.
And the rare Poole. Oh, the sweet feed. And down it goes.
Terry Thomas.
Jason Kalist with the pretty feed and the pretty catch by Terry. Let's watch it on the big screen. Oh, it's even better on the second watch, Scott Squires.
The key to that pass from Kalist was that he kept it low to the ground. That was only a couple of feet off the ground, making it tougher for the interior defenders to get a hand on it. And once Terry got it, he knew what to do with it, and he gets the and one.
Such a difficult pass. You got to put the right spin on it. And you got to have the right guy with the right hands to catch it. And he had Terry Thomas.
Shot clock is off now. Zimmerman being guarded there by Stewart. Halifax will want to take this right down to the bitter end. White zips it over there, losing the handle. Here comes Jennings now, and he lost it right at center court at the logo as the clock expired. And this doesn't look good if you're a Halifax Hurricanes fan. Billy White reaching in for that ball, clutching at his left thigh.
I think he's hurt more than injured. I think he just took a shot to that thigh. Fine old Billy, he's going to walk that off and be ready for the fourth quarter. But my goodness, Scott, the highlight reel stuff at the end of that, at the back half of that third quarter with the Miracles just turning on the speed and the athleticism and beating a slower-looking Halifax Hurricanes, a more tired-looking squad on the road down the floor, and led by Al Stewart and then joined in by that pretty connection between Caliste and Terry Thomas to close the quarter.
So the lead is 78-69 for the Magic as we're at the break between the third and fourth quarter. And, you know, sometimes it's not how many points, it's the kind of points that you have. Al Stewart's 5 points, but a couple of those buckets that he's gotten have been absolutely electrifying as he's just blown by our broadcast position, blown by defenders, and has taken it very strong to the glass. And exactly what I saw from him when I called games for the Island Storm last year. Al Stewart would get inserted into the game, and of course Joe Salerno coached Al last year over on the island, and every game that I called with Al, he would do just that. He would come in.
One of my favorite calls ever in sports history. It's a Jaromir Jagr goal on Hockey Night in Canada, and I forget which one of that long-standing team made the comment, but he said there were 2 people in the building that he didn't beat. These 3 people in the building he didn't beat, and 2 of them are ushers. That's what it seemed like he just did a couple of head fakes, and the seas parted for the Hurricanes, and Al just both times just squeezed into a tight spot as we watch the replay here for that second bucket, but it was that first one that was so pretty. Cut the ball three-quarter court, just a head fake at half court, sent I think it was Mike Poole to the side, and then I think when he got in the rim, another head fake, just parted the waters for the trees inside, and inside he went for a finger roll. So just 3 of the prettiest buckets that we've had all year came in the last couple minutes for the Magic, and there we see the replay of that Terry Thomas finish off the pretty feed from Caliste again. And Terry Thomas tends to show that emotion from time to time on the floor. When you see Terry on that fist bump, you know he's into it.
So it's been not only a tale of 2 halves, but a tale of quarters. Moncton in a very low-scoring, poor shooting first quarter for both teams, won it 17-16. Halifax outscored Moncton 27-23 in the second quarter, and a big third quarter for Moncton as they outscored Halifax 38-26 in the third. You add it all up, and it's a 78-69 lead for the Moncton Magic as we begin play here in quarter number 4. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley, and our NBL Canada crew, glad to have you along wherever you're tuned in here.
Here's a matchup to watch for the fourth quarter here, Scott, is this one up top here. Denzel Taylor on C.J. Washington. He's done such a good job. And C.J. is just sitting on just 2 points and 4 boards for a guy who's done so much more than that for these Halifax Hurricanes the last 2 seasons. And
here's Billy White, brings it up the floor after that Magic miss, and Mason again pushes off his mind, but he won't get away with it this time. He did it in the first half, and the fans thought there should have been a call.
And there's 2 times stepping in, the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Al Stewart, showing again why he makes the most of whatever minutes he's getting.
So that's the 4th now on Mason. Caliste gives it off to Stewart, right back to Caliste. He's wide open for 3. Caliste rolls it around the rim. Denzel was there for the rebound, and they're going to say that it went off Denzel.
Yeah,
and now they're going to talk it over.
That's going to be corrected for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So they do. Good job by the officiating crew there. As getting together was Adam Etienne, Matt Boyle, and Ryan Lutz, and they do indeed reverse the call, much to the delight of the Moncton Coliseum faithful.
Guess who kept it alive?
Denzel Taylor. Here we go. Corey Allman from outside. That's going to be off the mark. Rebounded calmly by Mason.
And why was he wide open? Another thing that Denzel's excelled at tonight. Setting screen, just clearing guys out.
Stepping back is Poole. That's no good. Right into the hands of Brent Jennings. Allman down the wing. Stewart gets it to him. Corey for 3. Corey can't get it to go. He wanted it, couldn't get it. Kept alive by Billy White. Smart play by 23 in blue. Up ahead now for Washington. Billy White charges into his man, goes to the left. Too strong, comes down into the hands of Al Stewart. Look at Al. You know what he wants to do. Floats it in. Al Stewart again. Electrifying the Windy City native. Blowing by everybody in a blue jersey.
Another timeout for the Hurricanes. Al, as if they're standing still. And that was a difficult finish here as we watched the replay. He had Billy White trailing and Mason stepping in to try to take one on the numbers, but just perfect timing on that floater from Al, and a pretty finish again. He's up to 7 on the game.
Basketball is a funny game. Sometimes you can have a guy get a wide open look from 12 feet and he'll miss. Then you get a play like that with Al Stewart going coast to coast, going up against defenders, making the most awkward looking floater of a shot, and it drops.
Yeah, but if you're going to be a professional basketball player and play the guard position and get time, you have to have that shot in your arsenal. That floater is a necessity, and Al does it very well. Corey Almond has that a little bit in his arsenal too. It's underrated. He doesn't use it as much because he's that long-range gunner. Terry Thomas has it a little bit, and look, Al uses that. That's how Al gets his points, using that quickness of his, getting into the lane and finishing over bigger guys.
We need to get the dance cam on you, David.
On me?
Yes, I think with your fancy shoes and your rolled-up cuffs, I think you'd look pretty sweet on the dance cam.
Listen, I don't want to say my nickname's Magic Mike or anything, but you know, I've been called that.
Well, you do work on the Magic broadcast team, so how about we go with Magic Dave?
Yeah, I think the first one's probably copyrighted anyway. I'm probably not allowed to use that as my stage name. Not that I'm dancing on any stages anytime in the near future.
Thank goodness. 11-point lead for the Magic. Washington, Denzel Taylor out on him. That's the matchup you talked about. Goes into the hands of Mason now. Corey Almond out on him. Halifax working it around in the half court, though. They've got to get something up. 5 on the shot clock. Mason knows it, puts it up from well outside. That's off the mark.
And look who's got the rebound. Taylor.
Almond for 3. Corey gets it this time. Yep, I knew it. He's calling DC again, saying, hey, folks, look what I'm doing.
And there goes the sound effects in the arena, too. The fans are going to love that. Corey Almond.
And now Halifax has gone cold, and Moncton will take it as they've extended the lead, now largest of the game at 14. Moncton leading 83-69 here as we play into the fourth quarter. Brent Jennings puts it on the floor. Look at Brent go strong to the left hand, scoops it up. The shot's no good, but he's going to go to the line, and I think that foul's going to go on Billy White.
It is, and that's what I love so much about this deep and balanced and nuanced lineup of the match that they have now. Brent Jennings coming off a game in which we've mentioned it, player of the game, 6 threes, has been pretty quiet tonight, but these last 5-6 minutes running from third quarter to fourth, he's been a difference maker on both ends of the floor, and he's going to go to the line and try to extend this lead from 14.
Brent Jennings, 2 points on the night, both coming from the free throw line. He's 2 for 2.
But 3 boards and 2 assists in kind of these limited minutes. He was pretty effectively shut down in that first half, but he's done a lot of good stuff as he's come back out here on the floor and been disruptive defensively as well. Gotten some hands and some things and made life tough for Billy White there towards the end of that quarter, start of this one.
So looking to go perfect, and he is 4 for 4. Valuable free throws from Brent Jennings. 85-69, the lead balloons to 16 now. Zimmerman zips that into the corner. Mason thought about it, decides to take it into the paint, dishes off there, and going strong was Denny McDonald. Another Canadian into the game, seeing his first action, 7 in blue. Denny McDonald strong on the baseline.
And Denzel's shaking his head, going, I got that one. And it looked pretty clean, but you know, it was a ways across the floor here. Could have been some body, that's for sure.
9:15 to go in the fourth quarter.
Just seems like tonight that Denzel can do no wrong, so you're going to assume that that's a bad call. And we haven't seen the replay up on the big board to give our opinions, so we'll default to the refs on that one.
So it'll be important for Halifax to hit free throws as McDonald hits that one. They don't shoot very well as a team from the free throw line, 71.7%. That's 8th in the NBL. Stewart steps back, puts it up. Al Stewart!
Al's feeling confident now. Big smile on his face. Anything you get from Al from the three-point line is a bonus.
Right back the other way. Halifax too strong. Here comes Brent Jennings. He's got numbers. Dishes off to Corey. Thought about the 3, puts it on the floor, gets it inside to Al, scoops it up over top, misses. Coach Salerno in the crowd wanted a foul. They don't get one. Clinkscales back the other way. From the wing, that shot's no good. Rebounded there. And it comes to Corey Allman, who gets it to Kalist. Kalist can hit, decides to put it on the floor. Jason, the birthday boy, scoops it up and under. He doesn't get the shot, but he's going to go to the line.
And the reason I talked about that fourth quarter matchup being so key, Denzel and CJ coming out here, is because you look at the stats for the Halifax Hurricanes tonight, and they're typically really balanced in their scoring. And they typically get at least 2 of these post players going from down low. And tonight, there's been nothing from the post outside of Billy White.
And again, free throws important for both teams. You would expect that Moncton might get to the line quite a bit down the stretch here, and if they can hit from the line, it's going to help their cause quite a bit. They shoot pretty well from the free throw line, 3rd overall in the NBL at 76.3%.
And this situation's extra tough for a team like the Hurricanes when you don't have that those deep three-point threats that you can hope for. You start making some threes and go, trade threes for 2s might get you back in the game, but Halifax can't do that.
So pressure being put on here by the defense. Crowd into it. McDonald with the nice move in the paint. Denny McDonald, the Canadian from Mississauga, Ontario, with some nice minutes here for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, and he knows what he's doing down there. His minutes have been limited too, kind of like, on a pretty feed by Al.
Very
taking over the show here.
Al Stewart doing Al Stewart things, feeding it to Denzel, and Denzel got to thank Al for that one as Al set him up nicely underneath the bucket. 7:56 left to go in the fourth quarter. It's a 19-point advantage here for the Moncton Magic.
So we will mention Denny McDonald as he is a Canadian content here and a young guy in his rookie year. And he's a guy that I talked about. He doesn't get the minutes because this front court is deep and talented, but you've seen it. You can throw the ball down there to him. You can put the ball on the floor and create some things.
Watson,
he's doing.
Nice right-hand floater from Tyrone Watson for the deuce.
And another guy that's been effectively eliminated tonight by the Magic D. That's only his second hoop for 4 points.
Look at Al stepping up. Shot a little bit too weak on that one, and the Hurricanes will rebound. Terry Thomas comes over to the timekeeper's table. He'll get ready to check back in for the Magic. Under 7.5 left to play in the quarter. Clinkscales to Zimmerman, right back to Cliff. Clinkscales and Zimmerman, they play catch with it now. Zimmerman steps in from about 12 feet, and he'll hit that. Nice stroke there from number 2, Taquan Zimmerman.
That's strange. Taquan came in and walked into a 3 early and looking really confident, and then missed his next 5, but
Kalist zips it over to Jennings. Thought about the shot, now steps back. Rainbow shot there off the front of the iron, and Denzel Taylor with another rebound. My goodness, I may as well just clip that and keep repeating it.
Next thing you know, he's gonna make a 3 here before the end of the game, I'm convinced.
12 seconds on the shot clock. Kalist surveying the floor. Takes it in now, gets the double team, dishes it off to Al. Stewart takes it in, tried to feed it to Denzel again, and it went out of play. And we'll have that substitution come in now. Anthony Anderson and Terry Thomas back into the game, and Coach Joe Salerno going to call timeout.
Al wanted so bad to get Denzel on the score sheet yet again and reward him for that rebound in the corner, but that's that scenario there. You got to be a little selfish as a guard and get that ball up on the glass yourself.
So this Moncton Magic team, as mentioned, 12-11 on the year. They are 7-3 at home, so for the most part, they've done a very good job defending home court. But the Halifax Hurricanes have been beasts away from the Scotiabank Center. They are, at the Scotiabank Center, 8-4 at home, 3-3, a 500 record on the road. So 6:36 left to play here in this fourth quarter. And the Moncton Magic all season long have typically been a very strong fourth quarter team. And right now, outscoring Halifax 14-8 in this fourth quarter. It's a 92-77 lead. But again, you can't say enough about the work that Al Stewart has done in the last little while, but all game long into the starting rotation, Denzel Taylor equal to the starting minutes that he's been given.
Monster tonight, 15 points, 14 rebounds he's up to. And I don't care what the score sheet says, they're telling us 2 blocks. That is not factually correct. He's got at least 4, and he's just been a difference maker. And even the times that he's not gotten credit for the board, It's just he's gotten his hands on things, made the Hurricanes knock balls out of bounds and maintain possession that way. Just, he's been, again, I'll say it, it's not overstating it. He's had a Rodman-esque effect on the game with his screen setting and his toughness.
And Corey from downtown, DC Sniper, living up to his name there, and Clinkscales with pace. Back the other way, high off the glass, and Corey grabs the rebound for the Magic. And behind, I think we've got, not sure what that was, a technical well behind the play. I think it was a bench player. Yeah, somebody sitting on the bench got teed up, I believe.
Well, it was Mike Poole that was standing up and gave a wave to the referee after the tee was called. So we're not sure. And Coach Leslie's down there having a discussion with whoever it was. And Corey upset with himself, missing that free throw.
Coach Mike Leslie has been in a sour mood for most of this night, and that's not going to help.
Another note here to make, I mean, as tough defensively as this game has been on both squads, they've really taken care of the ball pretty well. I mean, 12 turnovers isn't outlandish here for Halifax, not their best game, but only 7 for the Magic here in such a game. And Corey Allman, mean mugging as he goes back down the floor.
Well, Corey, I guess he only makes the long distance call when he's outside the arc, and a nice move there as Tyrone Watson takes it strong to the rim.
And Corey tried to step in and take that charge, but he found himself too far to the rim. Good call by the referees and a good take by Watson. He knew that, that Corey Allman found himself too far to the rim. He knew he just stepped into him, take that contact, and finish.
So that's the 3rd foul on Corey. And it does indeed send Tyrone Watson to the line. Watson hits. So that'll make it 96-80, 16-point lead. Under 6 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter, 5:51 to be exact. Here's Anthony Anderson, goes baseline, tries to get Clinkscales to commit, he does, and Anthony Anderson with the nice bucket.
And you take a look at the balanced scoring here on the score sheet for the Magic, and that's Anthony Anderson ties himself for the team lead with Corey Allman with 16 apiece. Denzel right behind with 15, Terry with 14, and Jeremy Williams, we haven't seen in a while, with 12.
Clinkscales steps up and hits the 3. That'll help the cause for Halifax.
Yeah, keep him within shouting distance anyway.
Anthony Anderson now. Denzel comes over to help out. Anderson steps back outside. Zimmerman on him. He'll just go into the paint now, floating it in. Shot's no good. Nice effort, but couldn't get the finish. Here's Clinkscales now back the other way. Halifax looking to make a run here. Zimmerman gets it outside to Clinkscales. Nice quick zip pass inside to Watson. And now taking it strong in again, and there's that man, Danny McDonald, making his presence felt. He has played some valuable minutes here for Coach Leslie and the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he's perfect. That's his second. He's 2 for 2 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line. 6 points. Trying to make it 7 and pull this game to within 12, and with 4:57 left. That's not a game that's decided by any means in this league.
Not at all. A league of runs, no question about it. And McDonald hits. His nice effort here continues for Halifax.
They're going to ride him here. It's a good decision by Coach Leslie. If you got a combination that's working for you, the temptation is to go back to your all-stars, but
Corey from downtown. Corey Allman stops, takes the phone out, and makes yet another call. And the phone is ringing in the Coliseum. Corey's calling. He needs somebody to answer. Baseline move there. Brown strong to the rack. My goodness, Ramel Brown trying to quiet the crowd.
He is one of the quickest and most explosive leapers in this league, and that was just pretty to watch when he rises and hammers it down.
13-point lead. Halifax, you know they're going to try to break that barrier. And Brent Jennings, baseline, left-hand floater, gets it to go. Brent Jennings, his best look from the floor tonight.
That was pretty well defended by Denny McDonald, but Brent Jennings, a difficult finish. That windmill skyhook, sweeping one-hander.
Here's Ramel Brown again stepping into the paint, and Denzel Taylor, I believe, commits the foul. It is indeed Denzel. That's the 3rd on Taylor. So again, Halifax, you know they want to break that psychological barrier of the double-digit lead. Right now, it's at 15. Or excuse me, 15.
They can't trade buckets right now.
Mason, strong off the glass, good look there, and Moncton now 3:45 to go. They are not going to be in any rush. They will take as much time off the clock in their offensive sets as they can. Taylor almost had it knocked away there. Brown pressuring him. Anthony Anderson strong into the paint. Little float shot again. Couldn't get it to go. Tried to get his own rebound. Denzel sucks it up for another. Jennings from outside. He gets it to go. Brent Jennings for 3.
The J and Jennings stands for jumper. Saw one go in the half court. And then saw another one go from distance. And I was waiting for to see what the foul call there was. Kind of a difficult one. Kind of an awkward looking play.
So back into the game for the Halifax Hurricanes, Taquan Zimmerman. See who is going to check out of the contest. It's going to be Denny McDonald.
We talked in the Periscope pregame, too, about how Island crept close a few times on Wednesday night. And we talk about close. We're talking about within 12, within 13, within 15, threatening to make it more of a game. And each time, Moncton stepped up and made a play. And that's what you've seen here in the last 3-4 minutes. It got down to 12, and that became interesting against a team like Halifax who can clamp you down. And the Magic responded by getting some key buckets here from guys. Well, even to the floor.
Even though they're well under their season average of 111.6 a game, one thing we know about this Halifax team is that they can light it up and light it up quickly. So Moncton is going to want to stay focused here. They've got the 14-point lead with 3:12 to go. 106-92 is your score. And we're going to have a foul called. That's on Taquan Zimmerman. That's the third on Zimmerman. It's the fourth team foul for the Hurricanes, so Terry Thomas will come over to inbound. 3:10 left to go in this fourth quarter. Moncton looking to put a string of wins together here. Corey Almond again. Can he hit that one? Oh my, oh my. He is maxing out the calling card tonight, my friends. Back-to-back strong performances by the DC Sniper.
And he started off so slowly in this game, but once he gets one to go, that seems to unlock that chest. And when Corey gets excited, and he's loving this phone call, and so's the crowd, it really lights him up here in this building when Corey gets it going.
Zimmerman answers right back with a smooth-looking three of his own. So again, this Halifax team will not roll over. They are leading the Atlantic Division, and they know this could be one of those tone-setting games. Jennings gets it to Thomas. Thomas thinking about that shot, gets it to the corner for Almond! Off the front of the rim. He wanted that. Back the other way. Halifax just keeps it alive. Quick pass inside. Brown, strong move, gets his own rebound. Nice play underneath the bucket there from Ramel Brown.
Down to 12 here again. And this will be a key possession right here. The Magic are going to work the clock. If Halifax can get a stop and a score, it might make it a little bit nerve-wracking here for the Magic in the last couple minutes.
Anthony dishes out quickly. Brent Jennings thought about the shot, puts it on the floor. Big pressure there from Watson. And they're going to say the foul on Brent and Coach Salerno, Coach McKillop, and the rest of the folks here at the Coliseum as one. Let the officials know that they don't agree.
Yeah, and I'd have to see a replay on that one. I mean, Tyrone Watson is a great defender, but I mean, that seemed really physical before it got to the point where Brent Jennings curled him. And now we're going to want to see a stop here from the Magic.
So gut check time now for Moncton. Here's Watson taking it in strong. And the foul's going to go against the Magic as Halifax now looking to get some momentum. And Anthony Anderson still, we talked about earlier, his temperature was rising, his frustration level was peaking, and it seems to be coming back to that level once again.
The Magic just got to take a deep breath, and you realize something here. In the pro game, with 1:40 left, and even if he makes two here, gets back to a 10-point lead, there's so many consecutive things that have to go right for you to make up a 10-point deficit in 1:40. Okay, because you're not going to start fouling with 1:40 left. So you got to count on a team to maybe quicken themselves up where they shouldn't and miss, and you got to kind of rely on some three-pointers going down here to narrow this gap quickly. So even though it's 10, Magic are still well in hand here. Just got to be smart.
So 90 seconds left to play in the game. Anthony Anderson gives it to Taylor. Moncton just working the clock now. Corey Allman has it in his hands. 6 seconds on the shot clock, 1:20 in the game. Inside to Taylor, nice for Jennings with the shot clock expiring. Off the back of the rim, and here comes Mason the other way. Dishes it over for Klinkscale, bounce to Zimmerman. Steps away, tries to get an opening now. Mason for three. Too strong. Thomas with the rebound, and an important one for the Magic.
Great defense by Denzel Taylor there. He closed hard on the best three-point shooter on the team. And Zimmerman made sure, even if he got beat, that it wasn't a three-pointer that was going up.
We are well under a minute now. 50 seconds left in the game. Anderson takes it in strong. And Anderson going to get the foul called as Ramel Brown guilty of that foul.
And the Magic in big moments have been the better team tonight. And they show it again here, these last couple possessions, what they can do.
48.2 to go. Brent Jennings. And they're going to call a foul away from the play. It was over on the other side.
Lots of clutching and grabbing's been going on all night on these little movements. And I think Cliff Klinkscale is kind of throwing his arms up saying, you know, I've been doing that. I've done that 100 times tonight. How come I just got called for it now?
And again, I just want to point out the great crowd here at the Coliseum tonight, and they've been an energetic and enthusiastic group as well.
Yeah, terrific. After a slow start offensively from both teams, they've really been into it as the quality of play has picked up.
Brent Jennings spins around, left-hander, off the back of the iron. Look at him chase in to get his own rebound. Jennings, great work, down to the floor, bodies flying everywhere, and it's Klinkscale who gets the ball. Zimmerman from well outside. That's no good. Put-back attempt there, falls short. And a rebound again from Terry Thomas. 20 seconds to go. And now the crowd in a crescendo rise to their feet and give an ovation to the Moncton Magic as they are going to hold the second leading scoring team in the NBL to under 100. And they will close it out here as the final seconds tick off the clock. Coach Joe Salerno and the Moncton Magic have defeated the Halifax Hurricanes. Well, there's still 0.5 to go, but it will be a Moncton Magic victory, 109 to 99 again. 0.5 to go, so delaying the inevitable here.
Terry wanted to make sure they held them under 100, I think. But he's happy to see it.
So a tremendous effort by the Moncton Magic, a hard-fought game. Both of these teams battled tooth and nail from the opening tip. As you mentioned, a slow start in that first quarter, not a lot of scoring, both teams not hitting a lot from the floor, but you could just tell by how hard these teams are going at it that it was going to be a great game to watch, and it certainly was an entertaining contest beginning to end.
And a ton of respect here in the handshake line. You see it from these teams. They battled hard all game, but they really respect how each other played, and they're Halifax is going home with a loss here, but I don't think we've heard or seen the last of the Hurricanes based on their play tonight. And we're going to talk, fans, stick around. We're going to talk to the player of the game, and that's going to be Denzel Taylor for the second time this year. Incredible work on the interior at the offensive end with his rebounding, and at the defensive end, not only blocking shots, not only rebounding, but the job he did matched up a bulk of the time with C.J. Washington. And C.J., an all-star level player in this league, completely shut out. 2 points, 5 boards for him tonight. And Denzel Taylor just tremendous.
Well, the Moncton Magic, as they've been doing after each game, gathering at the Moncton Magic logo at center court, huddling together, and then saluting the fans. And it was an electric atmosphere here this evening at the Moncton Coliseum, and they were treated to an outstanding game of professional.
This was fun.
It was.
It was just fun.
Two professional teams, both well coached. Coach Mike Leslie and the Halifax Hurricanes, an excellent team. Coach Joe Salerno and the Moncton Magic, the same. And you mentioned it. You could tell from the hop at the beginning that these teams were going to go at each other, that these teams know how good the other is, and there's a lot of mutual respect right there.
All right.
So I'm going to step aside. That's it for me. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Dave Tingley, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be away for a couple of weeks. The Moncton Magic heading over to Newfoundland for a couple of games against the St. John's Edge at Mile 1 Center. Until next time, my friends, I'm Scott Squires saying thanks for watching. So long. We'll see you again soon. Once again, your final score, the Moncton Magic move to 13-11 on the season as they defeat the Halifax Hurricanes 109-99. I will get off headset now and turn things over to my broadcast partner Dave with the big man gathering up the rebounds. Here is Dave with our player of the game, Denzel Taylor.